And it's time for the rematch to decide the fate of Group D. It's Czech Republic up against Greece one more time. Win and in, lose and out. Lorinda.
Could you repeat that, Falk? You managed to freeze frame just as you said it.
Oh, that's disappointing. Which part do you need me to repeat? All of it?
Lorinda.
Here we go. Is what I said.
Oh, okay, yeah, here we go indeed. Czech Republic and Greece picking up from that throwdown. Czech Republic and Greece were 3-2 to Greece last time around, and as you said, it is a win and in.
It is different bans by the looks of things. This time around, Greece have had their priest banned, whereas last time they had their druid banned. And this time they've shielded their druid. So, very different strategy from Greece going into this.
Indeed.
I don't know if production can hear me, but I've lost my video feed of the game.
I have also lost video feed. Excuse the exciting start to this game. I also... Oh, can you check the admin page?
Check the...
So, it's...
Yep.
Thank you. So I'm going to commentate now. I don't know if people can hear us or otherwise. And it's back. So now they definitely can.
Yeah, so as I was saying...
Druid versus the warrior. Go, Falk, go.
Different strategy going into this game. This time, Greece, instead of shielding their shaman, they this time shielded their druid. And a result had their priest banned. So entirely different outcome this series to the... to at least the match... matchup. What's the word I'm looking for? I've lost my brain. Good. To the matchup.
The match.
Composition. We'll go with composition. That'll work. Okay. So the matchup composition, as this time Greece are definitely playing their druid, and they still get to play their shaman even though they shielded it last time, which implies to me that last time their shield was a mistake. If it wasn't going to be banned anyway, why shield it?
Yeah, there's interesting mind games though. If you think it's going to be a totally different composition, as the word goes, then the whole thing can be affected. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a mistake. It could just be a total change in prediction.
Okay.
But one thing that is for sure is this first game has not gone the way the Czech Republic would have liked it to in terms of the matchups. The Druid, the protected Druid, you can see why, pretty good against this whole lineup.
Yes, it is. It doesn't run the OTK, which some of the druids that we've seen today have been running, which is obviously very, very powerful, specifically against warrior. However, a lot of the time, this more regular quest druid can just get there anyway by doing incredibly powerful things, duplicating hands with Elise, creating powerful cards with Zephyrus, etc., etc.
Yes, you don't need necessarily to have crazy combos in Druid. A banker is enough, Elise is enough, but all the rest of the stuff, like you say, can just get there anyway. And the warrior's ineptitude at putting pressure on the other way just allows the Druid to build up and do what it likes. Again, you can finish this with infinite anything, like just infinite scenarios is absolutely plenty.
Oh, exactly. The amount of power, the amount of damage that this deck can come out with in a very short space of time is, with cards like Scenarios, is quite incredible. And Fairly just going to have to defend himself best he can. The quest has been complete. This game is well and truly underway. Not the greatest selection, but I guess Tending Tauren can be fine.
Yep, they may. It depends if they want the now or they want the future. They may just decide to go for Ancient of Law and dig towards the end of that deck. Is another option. They don't have any card draw currently in their hand, so that might be a deciding factor. Obviously, it takes a few seconds for Fino to just react to the fact he got offered a bunch of gubbins. And chewing through the first round of cartouches. But again, not a massive deal. If they can get a big board a couple of times, which of course they can, that's what the deck's designed to do, the warrior will grind down. Basically, you just don't have to be asleep at the wheel as the druid. We did see Turkey get 4 Chef Nomis removed, and some of that was entirely their own fault.
Really? Yeah.
It was just sloppiness. They didn't need it to happen. I think it was hard to play completely correctly, but also it is easy just to think, oh, we've got this one, let's just throw cards out there. And that's what they did. They threw it into various bad hero powers for Dr. Boom, and just ended up losing their 4 Chef Nomi boards, which wasn't ideal.
What do you do as the warrior in this just awkward position? There's a 5-1 and a 5-5 on the board. Like, it's not much of a threat, but it's enough of a threat where it will kill you in the space of a few turns. You don't really want to waste removal on it, but then you can't not use removal on it. So it's just this awkward board for Fairly, and he ends up, removing 1 with a whirlwind. That seems, you're not too unhappy about wasting a whirlwind.
Yeah, you have got to be very precise to have a chance here as the warrior. And there won't be many more precise than Failure and Yala. But a single misstep and you're just going to get overwhelmed by this constant flood of Druid nonsense. There's also just this tiny possibility, at least from where they're sat, the Czech Republic can overwhelm the Druid early here, now they picked up N'Zoth. We can see that's unlikely because of the hands, but you know, just whip out N'Zoth, couple more card suits, smash your opponent really hard.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
But with the resources that Fino has available, I mean, like you said, we can see Greece's hands, so we may as well point out, you know, there's Loti, there's Starfall. Starfall with Loti is deal 7 damage to 1 minion and 3 to all others. There's a Wrath.
That seems fair.
That's another. I always miscount Wrath with Loti. It's another 6 damage, right? Yeah. Second Starfall. It's even more damage. But Fino's not even going to wait around for that. He's going to play proactively. There's Scenarios. There's my 4/4 Triumphs. Go.
Yeah, and Scenarios as well is one of those cards. Use the word composition once more, but the Elise is trying to get the perfect last hand. It really is like a Battlegrounds situation where you want the ending to be perfect. And so Scenarios is one of those cards that is fine in the closing Elise hand, but you don't really want it there. So dump it out and go for a more perfect build. You see how much of a hurry they're in to get to the end.
Yeah,
their
absolutely.
own Scenarios here just to dig another card.
Gotta get those Highlander cards active.
Yeah. Yeah, and digging through. I mean, in a minute they will actually find some more of their dig through cards. Their card draw, as it's known technically.
Dig through.
No
cards.
overflow in this deck, so they have got to go a little bit slower.
All right. Well, with that convenient hero power from Dr. Boom, that the board has been dealt with, and Fino has actually been left without many proactive cards to play here. It was certainly a big decision to play the Scenarios before duplicating it, indicating that is not his late game strategy. There's still King Phaeorus, which if he can keep hold of the Starfalls, maybe he could end up playing 2 King Phaeorus, both summoning 4/5 drops. So there's definitely a lot of value that this deck can still spit out.
Yeah, they're purifying their hand right now. It is getting more and more how they would like it to look.
Absolutely, this hand is amazing now. Just this plus King Phaeorus, and there you go, there's your release.
Sure. I know. Just twisting nether every turn until the end of time.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Because it's really boring.
Yeah, you just don't win that way.
You probably have a chance, actually, but yeah.
Well, okay. Though, honestly, until those Highlander cards become active, Fanny is actually in a fine spot at the moment.
For now, yeah. And there we go, there's no. I was going to say, some card draw has to turn up eventually. Greece down to 12 cards now, so it will get through, get them active very soon. In fact, that's made them active.
You know what frustrates me about this, Lorinda?
Everything.
As soon as you put a Hakara in this warrior deck, flips the matchup on its head. As soon as those Highlander cards don't do anything, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It still makes the Druid is still favoured, I think.
Yeah. That was
certainly makes the matchup more tricky.
I think that's definitely an exaggeration on my part. But yeah, absolutely. As soon as a blood gets shuffled into the deck and then drawn so that there's two bloods, it's so difficult. I mean, people always say, I can fill up my hand and burn them, but it's much more difficult to do that than it is to talk about doing it, right? Like, that is the epitome of easier said than done.
We saw a team last week as well, or the week before, in the first round anyway, pick a 1 in 4 chance where they knew that the Druid couldn't have a full hand to go for the Hakar, and they drew it, and that was the end of the game. They lost because the second that blood is drawn with 4 cards left, you're doomed. But it's fair, the other side of that is you can just fill it up, etc.
Okay then.
And then just wait 4 turns, because you tend to have this sort of board where they're not killing you in 4 turns as the warrior anyway, and then you just burn the blood and you're good to go. But it's definitely tricky and messy. .29 health plays 34, and 2/3 of each deck gone. Here we go. Here's all the good stuff.
Yep. Attending Tauren, Ancient of Law again. Did you just take the Blessing of Kings here?
Yes.
As in the Mark of Nature, obviously. But the 3-mana Blessing of Kings with Taunt.
I think you do. But, yeah. They were all rubbish that you were playing this turn, so I guess you take the one that has the most short-term impact, just because you wanted it out your hand.
Tyrion plus Blessing of Kings? What are we playing here? That's not Druid.
Yeah. Paladruid.
So Zephrys has been used. Still holding onto those Starfalls. It really does look like those Starfalls are just bait for King Feoris.
Okay then.
Yes.
Like, you draw Feoris, play the Elise, you get 4 Starfalls, 2 King Feoris, and they get 2 turns of a full board of 5 drops.
Losing Zephrys does make this a bit more scary, but
It
like I said
does.
at the start, you can just pick your poison whichever way you want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a sign that the OTK is just overkill, because if Fino's saying, you know, I don't need this resource, I don't need this resource, I don't need this one. You know, Cenarius dumped on turn, 7, with double innovate, was it? Something like that.
Yeah.
Zephrys dumped as well. Like, he's just saying, I don't need this stuff, I'm going to kill you anyway. 19
I'm not
health.
a huge fan of the OTK in general. I feel that it's just not needed largely. Fury Hunter was saying something Hecklebot, otherwise we're right, basically. It's just a backup plan in case you get Hecklebotted.
Okay.
To have the OTK in your deck, but...
I think we need to have a chat with our good friend Xananan, and he'll tell us how good the OTK is. No!
To be fair... Yeah.
Fino even using a Starfall there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like...
No.
There you go. Even the King Feoris condition is getting slightly worse now.
Yeah, the deck has evolved a bit since Xananan decided to popularise or, I don't know, champion the Bees version of the deck. There are so many more ways now of doing it than when he was playing it. Right, here's the push.
I mean, can you call that a push? It's more like a poke.
Sure. Yeah.
Or a flick. This is annoying. I'm gonna get my health back.
Yeah, it didn't last long, did it?
No. The health gain does though. The health gain genuinely is relevant. But the question is, how does Fairly get from this position to actually winning the game?
Not easily.
Now, he can deal with Fino's threats on the board. But then looking at the other side of things, Fino is actually running out of... Unless I'm missing something. Oh, sorry, I am missing something. He runs Baleful Banker, so you can infinite.
Yeah. It will be infinite some things at the end. But the some things are running out. Still has Kun, which obviously is very hard to get through.
But again, Lorenzo, I want to point out, like, maybe Fino would have played differently, but as soon as you factor Hakar into this game, like, Fairly just wins.
Yeah, he would have filled his hand up more. He made a very conscious effort right from the very, very start.
Yes, true,
to just
true.
dump everything out of his hand to make room for the end game, which is where we are now at. And now we'll find out which exact cards he has in mind. Not many, I shouldn't think.
Yeah, we are well and truly in the end game now, and Fino, again. So first step is dump his hand, or dump most of his hand. Second step is get a decent duplicate with Elise, and then third step is banker the Elise back into the deck.
Yeah.
And
the
repeat.
rest of it is just choosing what he wants. Just a quick shout out to Imboz, got a shoe on my head. Hope you like it. I know you can't see it, but there it is there.
I saw something in chat as well. The casting is live, the game is pre-recorded to answer the questions going on over there right now.
Hecklebot.
Oh, too late. Although it can pull out the Elise next turn.
Yeah, it can pull out whatever is put into the deck, and this is, I think, where Fury Hunter was at.
Oh, that's so interesting. I
Yes.
don't know if it's good enough. But then what's Fino got? He's got a King Feorus with a Hidden Oasis, and that's about it. And a gun. What, does the warrior just win this now? What the heck?
This would be a good time for a master plan.
Well, Fino can take damage. He can take a lot of it, so he doesn't mind about the fatigue. So he can set up exactly what he wants to set up. But the Hecklebot is sure going to be a nuisance.
Okay then.
Face me, you tilted tyrant.
You just end up with too many of everything, so it probably doesn't actually ruin you. And Fino has been in the tank all the way through the Czech Republic turn there.
It's just a weird situation now. Like, I'm certainly no expert at the Druid. Like, believe me, I don't want to doubt what Fino is doing. But it's just so weird when you... Even the Hecklebot being played there is kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, why play it when you know there's a banker and the banker is going to... Like, if you don't play it, in order to play around it, Fino, in theory, has to go Elise, banker, Ferocious Howl to draw the banker.
I think he has to throw the Ferocious Howl maybe now. I assume he was keeping it for the reason you just said originally. Just going to check the Czech Republic list, that might help me not say anything else too stupid. Yeah, there's only one Hecklebot, just double checking that. So normal service has been resumed now. Now he has all that good stuff.
So, okay, he did that anyway. So maybe holding on to the Hecklebot. Wow, it's such a weird mind puzzle.
Yeah, two things I'm not good at. Minds and puzzles. So
You know,
next turn, I think, is the more sensible looking turn. But the damage is coming in. Yeah, for Fino, it starts to look a little bit more straightforward. It's a relative term, of course. You sort of start playing the same few cards over and over.
This would
But
be
the
a good
warrior's
time
actually in
for
an
a
okay
master
spot here. They could push
plan.
a lot of damage. They only have 4 cards left, so they're going to banker their Hecklebot.
Wow.
So I wonder if he was trying to bait the Ferocious Howl out last turn and Fino didn't fall for it.
Maybe, but then if you don't play it, the Ferocious Howl has to be played anyway, and then you still have the Hecklebot and the banker.
Well, they can copy the Ferocious Howl over and over, but if they manage to bait it out and get Fino to discard it...
Oh, I see. But then Fino knows there's a Baleful Banker in Fairly's deck, so it's, it's...
But,
They're playing with perfect
try and
knowledge.
Try and make people make a mistake.
Okay.
But
Sure.
we're concentrating on the technicalities. The reality at this exact second,
Don't make
which
me
isn't going to last that long,
Yeah,
is
yeah, until you
Czech Republic
finish
are
the sentence.
smashing Greece in the face.
Yeah, but now Fino has 24 health, and now he's going to have 36 health. So we can take that one back. Although, that is the only hidden wisdom, and there's definitely an argument for Fino holding on to it.
Remember every time I've cast Druid for the last 2 weeks, I say you want to play King Ferris early. Because otherwise it just ends up being a stodge in your hand and really irritating.
Fino could go
Here we are.
Kun into Kun here to gain 30 armor if he wants. He could go Kun into hidden wisdom. Just to gain 42 health.
push buttons.
Sure, why not? Ferris is so bad if you don't play it when you get the chance. They didn't get the chance in this game, but we've seen people hold it on purpose. Oh, the music. Did he get the Ferocious Howl off? He did.
I'm out of cards.
But Fino just doesn't care about like fatiguing one card each turn because he can do this ridiculousness. He's
Yeah, plus he
always
gains
gonna
like
have
9 armor or 8 armor, whatever, each turn.
Oh yeah, sure. The armor on top of the 2 Kuns that are getting played every single turn, right? Like that's another
Yeah,
20
exactly.
armor per turn. Oh wow.
This would be a good time.
So
for
the
a
bit you
master
said about,
plan.
Fino was claiming they didn't prep a huge amount for this. You don't play this smoothly if you haven't prepped. Fino or otherwise. Fino is one of the greatest Hearthstone players of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
but-
hang on a second. It depends what you
Oh.
consider. Oh! That's not Hakar though, is it?
There was a bomb.
Nazar?
Result number 2, 3.
Siamat? Alright. Is Cho any good? No, I don't think so.
Do they ever get the chance to mess with the opponents?
With Cho?
Yeah.
They just
You
get a
Ferocious Howl every turn. Yeah.
I don't think
So
that's
that was
good.
pretty grim, I think. I don't think it was very good at all.
Alright, 4 fatigue damage. Just doesn't matter in the slightest for Fino. Yeah, the Sephorian bomber looks cute for Fairly, but it's not Hakar, right? Like it's one bomb that deals 5 damage and that's it. And also, Fino's gonna have his hand full all the time now from now on, I think. So having to waste a turn to play Feoris kind of sucks here, and the fact he's gonna have to do it
Yeah.
again is awkward.
Yeah, it's whenever I'm advocating to dump it early, remember this game. And absolutely don't mention Suzumoka in chat that we're live. Just don't say anything about him.
I believe in second chances.
I mean,
Face-
it's just no good, is it? Ah, well, actually, maybe Fino doesn't play around it. now.
Yeah, like it depends if you think you're ever winning. That's the question. If you think you ever win this, you don't take it. If you think you need Fino to make a mistake, then you take it.
Then Okay then.
Suspect Fino's no longer talking about the terms, but he might be. Seems to have the pattern worked out. They've got to keep absolutely on their toes, though. They are still taking a damage, and they don't have much to clear with apart from their repeated minions.
I agree. However, the last turn was the weak turn, right? That was the King Feroz turn. Now it's the strong turn again. It's the Kun Elise Banker turn. It's the gain 20 armor. It's the gain 20 armor, create a huge board, and then pass turn. The frustrating thing is, as you keep saying, and quite rightly so, because that King Feroz wasn't played earlier, every 2 turns now, Fino has to have a bad turn where he just dumps Feroz. Because otherwise, it's just there'll be 4 next time the hand's duplicated, and then. Yeah.
There must have been a chance here, actually, that if the Czech Republic managed to find a way to get Elysiana back in their hand, another one, there must have been a chance of this getting close to turn limit. We came within 2 turns in the Argentina match in round 1 of reaching turn limit. This one's not going to get there. They played like 4 Elysianas each that day, with Holy Waters getting back Elysiana and all sorts of other silliness. I think here that Greece do get there eventually, just by nature of the fact they're not going to die.
Well, when they think it's the final push time, they can forego the King Feroz turn, and again go with the double Kun turn, just to create this board that the opponent can't deal with. However, now with with N'Zoth drawn, oh my goodness.
Make it stop. Make the silliness stop. It will all stop, of course, and become new silliness in about a week's time.
I can't wait for the new silliness.
Evolve. And the finals will be one of the first, if not the first, major tournament played with the new stuff.
I
Scent
think
of
it will be,
Dragons.
you're right, yeah.
But as importantly, not more importantly, but as importantly, without Evolve, without Kun, without N'Zoth. I've really enjoyed the fact that the design team threw back in a load of wild cards, but I'm also going to enjoy the fact they're going to take them back out.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they do it again in the future with a different set of cards. There's it does seem like, I mean, if you've seen the design of some of the new cards that are coming out, they're going pretty wild with some of them. And I really think that the Hearthstone team are pushing the boat out more when it comes to these different possibilities. Really taking advantage of the fact that it's a digital card game and we can do crazy stuff with it.
Yeah, you know that's one of the things I love, and the digital card game thing. And I think this whole of 2019, they've been very brave with a lot of their decisions. Some didn't work, but that doesn't matter because they've learned. Well, they've decided, they've already knew this is a thing, that they're willing to go for it and reverse decisions if they're wrong. Whereas the philosophy maybe 3 or 4 years ago was, oh no, this game's working, let's not mess with it. And I like the fact that now they're much more comfortable to make a choice. You know, buff some cards. If it doesn't work, nerf them again. Job done. And that's keeping the game a lot fresher. It's always a bit embarrassing saying this at the end of any cycle of any card game, because no game is fresh for a solid 3 months.
No, it's not possible.
But it's keeping the game a lot fresher for a lot longer. And I, for one, am very, very happy about it.
Alright, foregoing the Feroz turn there, doesn't duplicate anymore, but obviously those, the ones in the hand are moving further and further to the left. Although it's...
Oh, sorry, the game's still going on, yeah. Yeah.
What did you think? Yeah. Yeah, the
I
game's
just
still
thought I was
going
stuck
on.
in a room somewhere talking about some Hearthstone, having a bit of a laugh with my friends.
87 health now for Fino. 87 health. Like, and that's with taking fatigue, like escalating fatigue damage every turn.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, what could go wrong?
This would be a good time
Oh,
for
King
a master
Feroz.
plan.
And of course, the Czech Republic do still have another N'Zoth.
If I'm not mistaken, Fino doesn't have to play these King Feroz out though now, because plays the Elise on the right,
Good time for a master plan.
the Kun on the right, the Floop on the right, the Banker. and it's the card on the left that gets duplicated. So that the second King Feoris is always the 6th card, I think, and doesn't get duplicated again anyway.
Super. Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
But in which case, Fino never needed to waste a turn playing it in the first place, unless there was a hand issue and he was just adjusting for it.
I mean, I still don't know what you're talking about. It's taken you 20 minutes to work it out, and Fino had 1 minute. That's my answer to that, as to why he didn't do it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely reasonable.
I do understand what you're talking about. It's just something that, in the heat of the action, was probably a more minor decision. And actually, he seems to have stopped playing it now, so he's obviously worked it out at some point along the route.
I believe the one Feoris is in the hand forever, but the second one is just... Right, it's in the hand forever, but it's not being duplicated again, I think.
Yeah.
Need a hand, Explorer?
Need a hand explorer. No, I've got a hand of 10 cards. I like the voice line being so funny.
Let's stash that away.
Oh, ferocious howl.
Out of cards.
And 94 hell versus 38 hell. The problem is, Fairly only has so many N'Zoths. And then at one point, Fairly will run out of N'Zoths.
Yeah. I mean, it all seems entirely pointless. But this is how Yala kills you. He's not killing you this game. He's just going to take 2 hours off your life so that next game you're more senile.
I thought you were going to say he kills you with kindness.
I mean, by the look of what we've heard about Yala, he kills you with the plague or something. He's in bed alongside Fairly, who's keeping a very comfortable distance, telling Yala to breathe at the wall.
What a game of Hearthstone this is.
Or whatever
It looks like it shouldn't go to turn limit though. Like it looks like it should be the case that
Yeah, it
Fino
shouldn't, 'cause-
eventually just wins.
Yeah, by fatigue. Because I don't think they can get another Lysiana, which they need to take the turn limit, I believe.
Right.
But you never know.
Apparently getting
They
the
are
damage.
taking more and more fatigue. I mean, the fatigue's going to start mattering at some point on the Druid.
8 fatigue
Could be worse, Falk. It could be the mirror.
damage.
And that game does go to draw.
I hope one of them brought the OTK version if it's the mirror. Wait, you mean the Druid mirror or the Warrior mirror?
Yeah,
Because
the Druid mirror.
You could be talking about
Just
either.
just this exact Druid mirror. No, somebody usually eventually wins the Warrior mirror, and different things happen along the way.
Mhm.
But the Druid mirror, they literally do the same thing Fino's doing, except on both sides of the board for 6 million turns. And then the game gives up, blows up both heroes and say, "Get out of my tavern."
The 100 kings will rise again.
Fino's going to be board locked at this rate. Is that a legitimate strategy? It can't be.
Oh, no,
No,
you need
it can't
more N'Zoths.
be.
More N'Zoths.
Ferocious Howl. Fairly gets his own Ferocious
Or-
Howl now.
If the warrior had 2,000 armor, it might work.
2,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer chat. Fairly's at Yala's place this time. They were at Fairly's place last time, but Yala is ill in bed, so he's sort of shouting across his view from the other side of the room. AMA. No, actually, don't do that.
I mean, couldn't they have just played? If it's just going to be Yala telling Fairly what to do, couldn't Fairly have just played from home and just done this in a call? Like, why risk Fairly's health for this, Lorinda?
I mean, they're risking my health by playing on. But no, I think the Czech Republic have played in the same room as the entire team for every single time they've ever played HGG.
Yes, that's true.
So I doubt they wanted to break that streak. I think they take great pride in that. What do you reckon Fino's going to do next turn, Falk? He can't play Elise at the moment. Oh, now he can. Don't worry about it. Here come the Chos.
They're just bad for Fairly though. Like Fairly doesn't want a handful of fresh house. It just means he'll get to fatigue quicker.
Yeah, not only is he going to get the plague from Yala, but he's got to actually drive this. Whew. This is the best of 5. This is the first of 5 potentially glorious games. So, if you are considering getting a coffee or popcorn or a trip to the dentist, you've probably got about a few more minutes before we got to game number 2.
A few more. Is that how long a trip to the dentist takes, Lorinda? You go to the dentist, they just yank another tooth out. There you go, on your way.
Yep, pretty much. And it's less painful than this game of Hearthstone.
I'm quite enjoying this game of Hearthstone.
I enjoyed the first 412 turns. I'm getting a bit bored now.
I don't think I've actually cast a game that's quite gone like this in terms of the Druid infinite combo or infinite banker.
Yeah, it turns out that infinite goes a long time.
Hmm.
The thing is that here that we can sit, or I can sit and be sarcastic and have a joke about it, etc. But Fino and Greece do have to stay alert because they don't know the entire contents, I don't think yet, of Fairly's Miliciana. And if he's got another one or something, you know, they do need to make a plan for actually winning the game at some point. The fatigue is building up on Fino. Obviously, it doesn't look like it. But at some point, it'll get bigger than 30 or whatever they're gaining each turn.
We live in a world of Hearthstone where the warrior with Elysiana is losing a fatigue game
Yes.
against a deck that does not run Elysiana.
Yes.
I'm sure
That's
there were not this many like deck shuffly things in the game a year ago. Back in my Hearthstone day.
Back in my day. So just an important question being asked actually in chat is what happens if it's a draw? So in Tournament Hearthstone at the moment, if you reach the turn limit and it is not the deciding game of a series, both teams in Conquest are given a win. Both decks go out of course and you've got to hit 1-1. If it is the deciding game of a series, then the player with the most armor plus health is declared the winner. But at the moment, if this did go to turn limit, and we're some way off that, I believe, then it would indeed be a draw, and both teams would get the win. $12 fatigue damage, taking them down to only 99 effective health.
Am I laughing or crying? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm not laughing or crying. You're laughing or crying.
It's amazing how this comes together though, in terms of the fact that Fino, he has his hand full at the end of every turn, so there's no Law Cho shenanigans that can mess him up, which frankly has been messing Fairly up. If you just take a little glance at Fairly's hand, I wouldn't want that.
Okay. So turn limit is 45 turns each. You draw 10 through Elysiana.
Yeah.
And you draw something like 23, 24 through regular means. That's 34.
Yeah.
Which means Fairly's going to have to survive. And don't forget, he has got a second Nazok available, if he doesn't burn it, to about 11 turns of fatigue.
No, it's not going to happen. It can't happen.
I don't think it can happen, but that is their chance to get to...
I love that the Law Cho survived.
Why wouldn't it at this point?
Alright, Divine Shield, Wind Fury, let's go. Siamat gonna chunk down that damage. 12 damage a turn, 13 damage from fatigue, 14 next turn, 20 armor gained. So what? I've got CM out. That's going to the face. Never mind.
We've broken Falcone after all these years. Oh, that emote goes really well with Brawl. I never noticed that before.
Oh, the show wins again!
Show right again.
I also love that that rule literally costs 0 mana because you just play the 4 mana kun afterwards. It's like, back to turn again!
I mean, the League of Explorers music is probably the most iconic music in Hearthstone, but I would kill not to be able to hear it for about the next 10 minutes. Because we've heard it every turn for the last 45 minutes. I hate everything. I would brawl if I were you, Fairley, to try and get rid of this Lawwalker Cho.
Someone in chat said a while back they'd be losing their mind if they were casting this game, and I think I'm there. I think they were right. I think
I used the optimal strategy as I didn't start off with.
No, you just lost it years and years and years and years ago.
Don't win, Cho. Oh! That's completely ridiculous at this point.
And he knocks it out of the park once more. Lawwalker Cho, 3 brawls to 0. 3 brawls? 3 brawls to 0?
Yeah, 3 brawls to
3
0.
brawls to 0. The undefeated champion of the ring.
Handing to chat.
124 health?
What? Cho, go away.
That's what Fairly's
You're dead, Lawwalker Cho, but you're not.
Alright, Fairly
There
can
we go, that's
dynamatic.
the Zop, right? I think.
Yeah.
I haven't lost track.
Yeah, and now Fairly, if he needs to get rid of that Lawwalker Cho, dynamatic it away.
Oh my goodness.
But like, Fino just never stops doing it. He's gonna brawl again.
Go,
Why
Cho,
does he-
go. That just wants
why-
to go this time, possibly.
Yeah, why does he even want to get rid of the Cho? Oh, he wins again!
He just wants the face out of his hand.
4 brawls! 4 brawls!
At least now his stats are recording the correct score for the opposition in brawls. Their own 4.
I'm out of cards.
Fino's out of cards. I've not heard that before. But now, more importantly, the Czech Republic are out of cards and are actually going to start taking some damage. I'm going to estimate that this is about turn 35 to 36. They've got to survive until fatigue hits about 11. And that is only estimated. I haven't actually got a Scooby.
I'm 95%, 98% sure that's just not possible. I'm interested in this Lawwalker Cho thing, Lorinda, because I'm wondering if we found Hearthstone's best kept secret in that Lawwalker Cho cannot lose brawls.
So you say that Kit Kat's lied, but Cho was always the answer all along.
Yeah, there was always one, it just wasn't Armorsmith.
That is possible. I'm so grateful to this Lawwalker Cho for giving us something
To talk
pay
about.
attention to during this particular game. Thank you, Cho.
The Hungry King will rise again.
This isn't even Cho's final form.
Golden Cho, so he did it 3 times. Makes sense to me. What's happened? How did I get here?
Need a hand, Explorer?
It's alright, Falcon, no matter what happens, you always get
Da,
home in the
da,
end.
da, da, da.
My god.
152 health! 152 effective health!
Out of cards.
Fino's out of cards.
161 effective health! Fino runs out of cards
Alright.
again!
I've just realised as well, they're not going to play the Nazoth until they're actually out of armour.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
can use the healing from the heal men.
Is it ever right
But
to
they
play...
might have to.
Is it ever right to play the Ferocious Howls?
They played a couple just as an investigative policy. They're now actually getting to the point. Yeah.
Jarl is lying in bed, like, just concede, Fairly, please! Just concede!
But they are forcing Fino to take a lot of damage by dumping these hands. just trying to stay on the ball to some degree, although I fell off the ball and rolled down the street many hours ago. This fatigue must be getting like 20 something, 16 for Fino.
He's got 130. Sorry, 145 health.
Yeah, I mean, details.
Like your 12 fatigue damage isn't really doing all that much.
It could be argued thus. They're almost at the point now where they're losing health rather than gaining it. Not quite. Another hour.
Let's stash that away.
Okay, so this is the turn where they do have to deal with the board.
I'm out of cards.
And now Cho has gone. But here's the door.
29 damage available for Fino. Did Fairly need to play the Nazar this turn? I don't think he did. There's only 29
Right, I'm
damage
gonna-
on the board.
Irritate Sottle and wonder if they can discover a Mechathune. But I'm not sure how they get rid of these ferocious howls without killing themselves.
Oh god, you're irritating me as well with that one, Loons.
I mean, normally it's not even a thing, but I actually can't think of another way of winning this now. Maybe they can. What can they discover that takes them to turn limit?
That's a better question. And the answer is, let's see.
Mechanizov.
Too much. Mechanizov. That's not mech.
He's played 3 Nazoth now. Did he get a gold from Nazoth? And now he can play like exactly minions 3 times in a row.
Oh god.
There's something wrong with Yala, isn't there? I don't just mean he's ill in bed. I mean there's actually something wrong with him.
Right, because they're still playing?
Because he's yeah, I mean he's right to play on because he could take it to turn limit, but because he's had the ferociousness of mind to actually want to carry on. I don't care what's on the line here. I'm done.
Oh god.
Take the win.
I love this warrior hand of 6 ferocious howls. Does it for me, you know?
I think we're probably up to about turn 4. They might get there, you know. But now there's no more health gain left. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, acknowledging the ferocious house comment. I'm not quite sure how they get to turn limit without just dying in about 3 turns' time.
I'm still
it's-
not sure that they had to play that off that turn. I feel like they could have waited one more.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, the bomb actually went off. I thought Phoenix was filling up his hand each turn. I guess now that Cho's gone, there's no need to fill up the hand each turn.
And we should acknowledge, I know they got Nazoth, so that's good, but how awful their Elysiana was. If they'd got another Elysiana, I think this game was done. Go on, off you go.
As long as there was some reasonably good stuff shuffled into the deck from that Elysiana. What are the most defensive mechs that could be drawn here? Or discovered here?
You need to get one that gets you more. Mech Discover Man.
Oh, okay. Oh, easy. The solution is quite simple. It's
Yeah.
It's you get the pinata,
Yeah.
and then the death rattle from that gets you Nassau.
Gets you Nazoth. Done.
Yeah.
We've got a reason to play on. Thank you, Falk. I am now thoroughly invested in the last few turns of this game once again.
Let's stash that away.
As long as there's a reason, I'm good with it.
Channeling my inner Sao Night Chen gang here.
I like it. I like it a lot. No!
That's not a pinata.
That's poor. Can you make the mortuary machine do anything cheaty? I don't think so, obviously.
I was looking at board locking,
Doesn't
but I don't think
Makes
so.
sense.
Okay then.
Maybe
I'm
you
wondering
take it.
if...
Do you take it because it's an
Yeah.
8/8?
I mean, the reborn should be a negative. But like you say, board locking might be a thing. I'm wondering if Yala and Fairly know how many turns have gone.
The problem is when you reborn a flooped kun, it becomes a 7/1 kun. Like, it gets the extra attack back. It's gonna just...
Huh.
He really didn't want that reborn, interesting.
Yeah, I think it's probably grim. If it's not good for some tricky reason, it's really bad.
20 fatigue damage! Still got over 100 health. He's actually, over time, losing health now though, right? Because he's taking 20 fatigue damage-ish twice per turn. And only gaining 29 armor per turn. So he's actually gotten to the point where his health total has peaked, and he is on the way down now.
It's all downhill from here. And they're out of stuff. Defensively, attackingly, that's the word, which it is now. And somebody is probably going to go 1-0 up, but it might be 1-1. Tune in next week for installment of number 2.
No, I think we'll still be casting this game next week. Yeah, that's the reason we've got a few week break from Hearthstone Global Games. It's got nothing to do with the expansion. It's actually because this game is going, or this series is going on until next week. We're still going to be casting this one series.
There was a question being asked about why is he copying how. My guess is that they've lost track of the fact that all of the heckle bots have been used, so he no longer needs to. And he's also, why break the pattern that you know is working when you're on sort of muscle memory mode?
True.
It is hurting him slightly, but it's also quicker. You want to do it as quickly as possible because there's a very real chance, or there was, that this could go to turn limit. And I've got to admit, I still don't know how far off the turn limit we are, but we are close.
Da, 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 da.
It also makes space in your hand for an extra card. Actually, is another good reason to be casting it. Probably a more legitimate one.
Alright, is that the game?
How many heroes are going to explode next turn? Well,
That Ferocious Howl just lost him armor, so that is it. There we go. We're just playing all the Ferocious Howls. Alright, fingers crossed for both of them exploding, but it's... Nope, looks like it's going to be one. Fino and Team Grease are going to take the first game of this series. 1 hour in? 1 hour 20 minutes in? I don't know, but that was fun. Enjoyed that.
yeah. Whew. 1-0 already, and it is still Nizoth Rogue in the lineup for the Czech Republic, remember? Cool.
Yes, that's right. No, I mean, genuinely, that was such an interesting game. And honestly, as well, thinking back towards the start of that game, we were going back and forth quite a lot in terms of who we thought was going to win. There was a point where Fairly had board and was actually hitting Fino in the face. Fino was getting low on health. You even started saying at one point how low. You started commenting about how low Fino's health was the turn before he first played the Kern and the Hidden Oasis, etc. Like, it was looking a little bit dicey, but Fino essentially solved that game, and because Fairly wasn't able to get any other way of shuffling more stuff into his deck or a Hakar or anything like that, he wasn't able to win. I still stand pretty firm on the fact that I think that the Czech Republic would have just won that if there was a Hakar in the deck.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, but it would have been very different. That's for sure. They definitely could have won it. And also their Elysiana. If the Elysiana, okay, the Nizoth was good, but if they'd found a way to get a second Elysiana, maybe they could have thrown up defense for long enough, depending on the other cards, to either get to turn limit or even... I don't think you could ever win there. The Druid's just unkillable at that point, but... Because you have to spend every turn clearing their board. You never get a shot in their face.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're on to Shaman versus Druid. Token Shaman, got the Solar Murloc in their hand. You don't necessarily want it in your starter, but it does enable you to go wide with a defensive board on around turn 5, and then try to Bloodlust on turn 6 for a huge lethal damage.
I'm fantasizing over a lethal on turn 6 here, Lorinda. After what we just saw, I'm amazing.
Each their own. Each their own. So what? This is probably the one matchup where the Shaman hero power is still good. Where making a thing on the board is actually super relevant. There's also Vicina in hand, which is like bad bloodlust.
Or better bloodlust, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, bad bloodlust in this matchup. Better bloodlust at times, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. When it's just a minion that sticks to the board, it's scary bloodlust.
So you need to plan what you want to do with Sludge Slurper. I think there's no hurry, but you've got to play. When are you playing it if you're not playing it this turn? You've got a chance to play 2 minions if you do. But I think you wait at least 2 turns. Might pick up a Thunderhead in the meantime.
Behold, jewels of the sound. Ooh.
This is always kind of hard work to deal with for the Shaman. You end up ignoring it, which means you're all in on winning on turn 6 or 7 because the Druid just has too much stuff. Evolve is nice, but not so crucial. Obviously, Hair is nice because it's 3 things on the board. The main thing is to stick as wide a board as you can. Bloodlust is 21 damage if everything's a 0-1 on a full board.
And that is a lot of damage. And likely, not everything will be a 0-1.
Correct, right. So it's usually lethal is what I'm trying to say in my own weird
gotcha.
little way. So next turn, they'll want to go as wide as they can before the quest is complete, and then they'll try and defend it.
Gonna just dig through that deck as quickly as possible.
This is tempting now.
It's
How deep down the
really
rabbit hole do
tempting.
you want to go? So can you set up a Vicina now?
You can quite nicely. You can use the Spirit of the Frog and one of the Voltaic Bursts to clear the Crystal Merchant, and then it's just sitting there, and Fairly can't deal with it.
Yeah, you just ignore the merchant. You don't deal with it, I don't think. I think you
I think you have to, just because Vicina's a 2/6, right? And Starfall deals 5 damage. So as soon as the merchant's dealt 1 damage to it, Starfall can finish it off.
So my plan would be to try and go as wide as you can, protect it with Soul of the Murloc. Next turn, play Vicina.
Oh, okay, sure.
And then the turn after Bloodlust, but that involves managing your overload in a really awkward way. So they might end up going for your play, but I would be going wide, protecting.
He's already gone for a different play. My play was bad. Let's forget about my play.
Okay.
Coin, mutate. Are we gonna see Haunted Visions here as well? No. Lucky Soul. All right, sure.
So next turn they'll play Vicina. I think they're only overloaded for 1.
Whoa. Yeah, it's
Well,
just the Sludge Slapper. Oh no, it's the Sludge Slapper and the Burst. Oh, so they can't play Vicina next turn.
No, but they can play it the turn after, I guess, and another Soul if needed. They should be okay.
You just go Haunted Visions Bloodlust that turn though.
Yeah, that's assuming they need to attack twice. They might only need to do it once, and it's just GG. Big discussion here for Failey and Yala as to whether do we care about the quest? Like, Starfall is only going to be used to kill 1 health minions anyway. So shall we turn them all into Murlocs and then do it again next turn? And who cares about the quest? We'll sort something out when all the souls have gone. But they know there's a second soul in hand, which is making it really messy. In which case you would need to draw a swipe to get away with it. We can see now there's an Evolve being picked up, which messes with that plan anyway.
Behold, jewels of the sound.
Your wish is my suggestion.
That's an elegant solution. Allows you to clear stuff with a Starfall next turn and wipe up a lot of the Murlocs with your minions that you played.
Yep. Sometimes the 3-2 is the 3-2, you know?
Yeah. Oh, wow. So you don't really want to overload for more than 2, which is good because that's what you've got available. Your opponents have just made this really obvious setup, so you want to evolve, I feel. Might just be Evolve Soul here.
Evolve Soul. Sure.
And if you're evolving, you can afford to let all your minions explode.
Yep, perfect. Makes for a nice setup for next turn. You don't love losing the 1/7 taunt, but it's not the end of the world. It became a 4/4, whatever. Okay, fine. But with the Soul of the Murloc, exactly, this should be difficult to deal with now, and Bloodlust, in theory, should be playable next turn. Obviously,
Not turned out
Starfall...
very nicely. Yeah.
No, and Starfall can deal with... Is there a mutate target here? Yeah, the 4/4, okay.
What was lost
Oh,
will
it's
be
not much
found
better.
again.
So the key point here is they're not dead to the to the reloaded Bloodlust here. So they can afford to Starfall.
Yep.
They take a whole caboodle of damage they really don't want to take, but they're not dead to it. And then
Yeah, but
next turn they've got Druid into Innovate into Starfall,
Yeah.
and they've seen both Soul of the Murlocs.
Caboodles of damage are pretty scary.
They are.
Keep in
don't
mind,
want the
Hawkeye... Well, Hawkeye can now go Voltaic Burst, Haunting Visions, and Bloodlust this turn. Or maybe Facina's better. No, Bloodlust... Ah! Okay.
Yeah, exactly. This is where going back to the turn where they overloaded for 2, which made a lot of sense at the time, set them back an entire turn in development.
Yes, it did.
Trying to set this up.
It did. It felt like there was a pretty clear-cut game plan, which the second overload did mess up entirely. But maybe now it's sort of... Maybe now Hawkeye's finding himself again. Unfortunately, Starfall will once again clear this entire board and just leave 2 1/1s alive.
Yeah, and 2 1/1s is irritating but not terrifying. Ferocious House should put you out of range of not just an accident next turn, but an accident with the Haunting Visions, for instance. Because you don't really want to run into Haunting Visions of Bloodlust into another Bloodlust, something like that. So you've got to control these pesky little Murlocs.
Okay, Lorinda, so you said 7 minions with Bloodlust is 21 damage on
Yep.
if they all have 0 attack. How about 2 1/1s with Bloodlust?
That's also 21 damage, Falk.
I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
I
I lied.
I suspect it's considerably lower than that.
Yeah, me too.
Less than 10, in fact.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to take my gloves and socks off to start working it out in a minute, but yeah.
Gloves.
I don't know. To stop me hurting myself.
Just so many questions. Not going to ask any of them. Okay.
Gonna get a wild board that currently cannot be dealt with entirely. It can be dealt with fairly usefully, and there's Double Worthy Expedition and Oasis Surger, and they're getting towards Kun, but at this exact second, and there's a Nourish, they can't deal with everything.
Yep. Does seem as though the Druid has complete control of the game. Even dropping in the My Greetings. Oh! Oh, BM on both sides.
Yeah, I've
See,
seen a
this
lot of these games been played in good humour.
This is where, if I had you on my team, Lorinda, I wouldn't have this problem because you'd have smashed that squelch button before I could blink my eyes. You know, you'd have just as soon
Yes.
as the game started, bam, squelch.
Uh-huh. I now wait to see if they say good luck, and if they do, I say good luck back, and then squelch them.
Oh,
Or hello, or whatever.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I still don't think I've ever used the squelch button.
Really? Oh, you're such a nice person, though.
Not for like its intended sake. Like maybe sometimes if I'm like clicking on the board button, I'll click squelch and then unsquelch and then squelch and then unsquelch again, just as sort of like a, you know. But like I've never like gone, I don't want to hear this guy's emotes. Squelch, you know.
Mm-hmm. But you're a fundamentally much nicer human being than me, so that explains quite a lot of things. So, Sludge Slurper and another dude and Plague and Murlocs. Okay, they're doing it this way around because the Sludge Slurper might get a buff next turn, I guess. Sure. Of course, it's a Murloc.
Shaman in general haven't been doing very well today, Lorinda. Just
No.
an observation. Do you think it's just run into bad matchups, or is this a sign that the meta is starting to shift?
There is little time.
I think that the problem with Shaman on ladder at the higher levels isn't that it's completely busted, although if you wanted to argue that, I wouldn't really defend it very hard. The bigger problem is it's obviously the best deck. It doesn't mean it's necessarily a 95-5 in every matchup, but if you're 55-45 and nobody can stop you, you might as well play it. And so it gets overrepresented compared to actually its power level. It's very strong, but it's not destroying most matchups. It's favoured in most matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And so why wouldn't you play it? The only matchup it's 50-50 against is like itself. And that's the problem with it. It's good against everything. Again, yeah, you could argue Warrior, but not enough in it.
Evolve is a very powerful card, especially with Desert Hare and Mogu and some of the other recent additions to the game. We are going to go to a very short break now after that mammoth of a start of a series. The score is 1-1 between Greece and Czech Republic. Win and in, lose and out in terms of the rest of the Hearthstone Global Games. So a lot is lying on this match, the final match in Group D. You don't want to miss it. It's coming up after this. Welcome back to the longest Hearthstone Global Game series that you've ever seen. If you've only just joined, where have you been? We've been here doing the series for, I want to say, an hour, 20 minutes, something like that now. That first game was really something
What is
special.
time?
If you didn't catch it, honestly, go back, skim through it. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I'm not making you like we did. But either way, the score is 1-1 now between Greece and Czech Republic. One of these teams is going to be winning the series and making it through to the final phase of the Hearthstone Global Games, which will be taking place a few days before the other team, unfortunately, will be leaving the tournament here as we head into game number 3. It's Rogue up against Warrior. Not the N'Zoth Rogue.
Somewhat quicker this time around, and already through from this group. If you're wondering why such strong teams are being eliminated, Denmark, also a strong team, probably underrated by non-regulars to the scene, but we all know how strong they are. Denmark are through to that top 8. That is a team that a lot of people will be very worried about. They sorted out their week 1 communication issues and slight problems. I keep over-exaggerating those. They weren't that bad. And Denmark are there and are definitely to be feared. DreamHack winner in amongst that. Fury Hunter with a very high win rate in qualifiers last year. But as we're still considering this mulligan, Rogue versus Warrior, and it is Shark Rogue. Fino does like the Shark Rogue. This could be long as well, and this could be very tricky to watch. See how much value they can generate if they don't win with an early push.
It's very difficult to navigate this one as the Rogue and make sure that you are getting what you need. Obviously, some things can go wrong, like not during Togwaggle, for example, can be quite problematic. We saw in the first series today between these teams, the Rogue just sort of ran out of stuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's sort of what happens, but we have seen the Rogue just get it done by getting stupid amounts of value from Sharks. But more commonly, the Warrior does just run it out of stuff quickly. And already planning, not because they don't know what to do here, but so much going forward with this hand. How much value do you think you need to get from your first Shark compared to early tempo? You've still got the second one to make more stuff with.
How much is this worth to you?
The awkward turn 3 for Fairly here. I mean, Snip Snap is an option. It's not a terrible option either. Just jam it while you can.
Yeah, the other option is just play the mummy and clear up completely.
Yeah, but then again, it just doesn't feel necessary at the moment, does it? And I don't really want to use the coin if it's not necessary, personally.
Agreed.
Or at least a combo action. Sorry, ignore that. It's not the Rogue.
Just looking at their hand, though, they have very little removal. So maybe they want to stall out for turn. I don't think it's the right play to coin it out, but I think Snip Snap makes more sense. But this could go wrong if they do push their luck. But I think it is right to push their luck. Also notice that it has gone dark in Yala's room, the one where Fairly is sat, from the start to the end of last game. Or game 1.
Yeah.
It's been light in there all day.
To be fair, it is, at least in the UK, getting dark very, very early at this time of the year. And I'm sure it's very similar in other parts of Europe, like the Czech Republic. Have you been to the Czech Republic, Lorinda?
I actually haven't, and I would love to go.
I'd love to go to Prague. I keep hearing such great things about it.
Yeah, it's meant to be a beautiful, beautiful place. I feel like these are the crunch turns already for this. What they've lost, obviously, in removal, Czech Republic have got in some element of board control coming up. And that Harrison is going to be a pain in the backside for Greece, I believe is the appropriate term.
Yeah, that waggle pick value not going to be doing all that much. Yes, he's going to get to Hawkeye's going to get to squeeze 4 damage in, but I mean, or does he clear the snip snap? Like how irritating can that snip snap be? Yeah, he is going to.
Yeah. And it's so horrible when you're on a road and you have to clear a warrior minion. It's just a whole turn of not hitting them in the face. How big a deal is this Harrison? The tempo gain from returning a minion obviously doesn't really matter because it will cost 0. But you take away Grease's ability to get anything from it. Or to control it, should I say. Again, you don't really want to use up the coin if you can help it. It's much more useful later on when you've got a deck full of 8 and 9 and 6s and stuff.
It's one of those turns, isn't it, where you just everything just feels kind of eh. You know? Wow, it's gonna be armor up shield slam. He's got the second one, I guess. And coin out weapons project? Yeah! Coining out the weapons project after clearing the board because Fairley doesn't want the waggle pick to bounce the underbelly fence back.
Yeah, and then next turn it's Harrison. So
yeah, that's really nice.
If they had less to do, I wouldn't have been surprised. I still wouldn't be surprised to see Grease actually just hero power here. But they've got so much going on, I don't think they can afford to. Just dagger hit face, take away the Harrison cards. You know it's coming. But instead they just choose to let them have the 1 extra card and proceed with their own game plan, which makes a lot more sense. They're going to get a lot of value out of this shark now. The card they gave up they could have saved. They're going to more than get back a card's worth of shark action.
Alright. That Togwaggle easily going to be active next turn, or any turn, honestly, that Hawkeye wants. And this is how we see the rogue succeeding against the warrior. It's the value that Fairley just doesn't have the ability to prevent here. There's no way of proccing that Plague of Wrath on that Spirit of the Shark. There's no Whirlwind, there's no Warpower, which means next turn Hawkeye is free to go Lackey, Togwaggle, and get 2 treasures in the hand. And that is going to be a lot for the warrior to have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely insane. They just haven't got much removal at all. And because there was no way of jumping that shark, they are in so much trouble. And the only choice really is, do you waggle, which you probably do? Of course you do, because then Edwin's going to be a million the turn after.
Oh yeah, you definitely waggle. The question I'm asking now is, do you then bounce the waggle?
Interesting.
Like how many 0-cost cards do you need to win this game?
All of them.
The more the better, for sure.
But no, it's a good question. You might want to have 2 lots of 0-cost cards plus something else later on. Let's see what Fino and Hawkeye can cook up.
Yeah, I mean, I think you take every wand you possibly can. There might be.
I think you take the first 2 ones. I'm not sure about the 3rd one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. But if Hawkeye bounces it, he can next turn go Togwaggle, Wand. Oh no, he can't then play Edwin at the same turn. Maybe that's not right. Because you're right, like the big Edwin probably want that sooner rather than later. Oh, he did take a crown. Okay.
Yeah.
And no bouncing.
And no bounce, so they're quite happy to proceed. I mean, they want a board, right? So a 5/5 minion, I guess, with a 0/7 taunt in the way is actually an issue to deal with. 1 shield slam already gone, so...
What now?
The clock is ticking. But not as loudly as the clock in Battlegrounds. Well, this should turn out to be a bit of a turn.
Here we go. Buckle up, Lorinda.
Yeah, they're definitely going to draw the cards now. I wonder when they'll actually choose to Edwin up, though. It's not the nicest board to Edwin into.
It isn't, but I guess we see what gets drawn and then decide based off of that. With the Vendetta in the hand, you know, a Hint Clan Burglar would be pretty nice. To Swashbuckler, sure. Blink Fox, wow.
They can also Goblin Lackey their shooty gunman and make him bigger.
A Nosdormu!
Well, Mojo
Oh,
Master Zihi.
please.
Shame you don't
Well, no,
get to use
it
the
doesn't
battle cry, but they've got Shadow Step.
bounce it. Yeah, yeah.
I like
Oh,
this.
God.
Play Zihi and Shadow Step it back to hand, please. Double Nosdamu's a lot of damage, though. Maybe they go for that. You
It's
play
a lot
against
of damage
Yarla.
and- Exactly, the time pressure is relevant. He's roping now anyway. Yes, alright. I'm sorry, I really liked your Zihi, but I like this even more.
Yeah, and you're playing against Yarla, who is in bed, and I suspect Failure will be on in command here and trusted to just do everything.
I'd love to see Yarla just like appear on screen now and just yank the mouse out of the anytime.
It'd take you 15 seconds to get there. Or you could just draw Brawl.
Oh, boo!
Make the whole fun go away.
Boo! Come on, Knowles, survive. Now the rope stopped burning it. Ah!
If it had won, that would have been really hard. The animations on Brawl take about 13.5 seconds as it is.
Well, you know, Lorinda, if they'd taken Mojo Master and bounced it, we wouldn't have this problem right now.
Yeah, I think 2 8/8s was probably just enough, especially coupled with the fact it was Nosdamu.
Yeah, yeah. You probably take Mojo Master over like an 8/8 that doesn't do anything, like an Onyxia or something.
Yeah, I think so too. It just looked like a great way to cut off, but I think double Nosdamu was, yeah, I think it's fair. That does explain why they kept the Shadow Step, though. You do find some pretty terrific Battle Cry minions in those Crown minions. Legendary minions is the word I'm looking for.
Choose soon.
Candle Taker may be the most underwhelming reborn minion in the latest set. It's just like the most boring minion. Oh, look at me, I'm a 3/2.
Uh-huh. But candles. I get excited when I hear voice lines.
Alright, so we got a 16/16 Edwin, but Bailey
Yeah.
does have a Whirlwind and a Plague of Wrath.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter too much.
And the rest of Greece's hand probably doesn't fill them with joy.
Gotta admit, it's definitely taken a turn for the worse, hasn't it?
Warsong Commander certainly has. Was a card once. Right, this needs to do some good burgling. And good catting. Bad cat. Not good enough burgle.
I mean, is Shadow Form any good?
You've got
No, you probably
good
take the
deal of
Hex.
power
Right?
anyway, though.
Yeah, you
I think
take the
Shadow
Hex.
Form
Though.
yeah, I think it's Hex, but Shadow Form, I guess, you have to consider if you think the game can go on 20 or 30 turns, which we've already proved Hearthstone can do.
Thing is, Hex is. Oh, wow, it does go with the Shadow Form. I was gonna say
Well,
Hex is
they've got
one
a
of those
weapon in-
cards that's like always good, right?
Yeah, but it's too late. They've already faced the Cartoots, I believe.
Yeah.
Do that thing that you do, Fino, with the Elises and stuff. That'll work. Do that. Yeah, into sort of all-in mode now because you're not doing 36 damage against a warrior without going all in here. and they know it. This isn't the bait all-in where you use all your removed and they play the real cards. You've seen the real cards. And because they're playing the shark, which requires all the value from making the shark, not questing adventurers, there's nothing really scary left to worry about.
No, it does just feel like Greece dried up.
Just the order in there meant they saved themselves a damage.
Uh-huh.
Waiting to see if the 1/1 happened to survive, and it happened to survive. You could just lazily throw them in any order, and a huge percentage of the time, like 83% or something, you would have been not punished.
Well, the 1/1's a mech, so it was.
So it wasn't going to die. Damn it!
Yeah.
Thought it was the cat. Really thought it was the cat.
No, it was the
Losing
micro
it.
mummy.
It was Micro Mummy. I've lost it, Falk. It's gone.
I mean, you lost it. We both lost it during the first game of the series. Like that's fine. I think everyone in chat understands that it's been a series.
I'm not going to make excuses. I got it wrong. I thought it was a cat for some reason. Talking of cats, I don't know where mine's gone. I think she's playing some Druid downstairs. Alright, so recursive 2 damage a turn versus
and then
a
some
wall
bots.
of warrior.
Yeah, then the Zoth's going to cause some issues.
N'Zoth the Corruptor. That's the 4th one we've seen so far. And Greece, give it up. 1 to Czech Republic. They are on the hill. One more win, and they will be through to the top.
Yes, absolutely. Some incredible performances now from the Czech Republic, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they only have one deck left, Lorinda. It's your favourite.
Good deck. N'Zoth Rogue built to target warrior where there is no warrior, so very awkward to get a win with. I've been told by you and by Gallen and by other people that I underrate the deck. Yeah, I think I do, let's be honest. But it does not like being hit in the face early. It doesn't have much of a defense mechanism. It can certainly do it. It certainly, if it gets to turn 6, can start throwing up walls, or even turn 5, to be fair, with Rotten Apple Bomb. But you can just kill it in turn 5 because it does nothing else.
For anyone that wasn't here at the beginning of the day when when we were talking about what Gallen had said, Gallen very kindly gave us a bunch of information about this deck to help out with our casting today, and he pointed out that so obviously it's not as good as regular Rogue against decks like Shaman, Priest, etc. However, lackeys used defensively, Kobold lackey used to clear minions, etc., are actually incredibly powerful. Like, we often think of lackeys as purely an offensive tool. Used defensively, they cause a lot. They do a lot. Evil Miscreant is a hugely powerful card. And yes, the win rate isn't that bad. Yes, granted, it's been brought to target warrior, but that's not necessarily to say that it can't win against Shaman, you know?
Yeah, they've already got a win so far with this deck. And we saw, when it goes right, we saw exactly how it can go right. New Zealand targeted warrior, ran into 2 warriors, and destroyed their group last week. Absolutely blew them away. For the 3rd year in a row, I hasten to add. So congratulations, New Zealand, already on that. But you do have things like Novice Engineer where you wouldn't have normally, which obviously it's a 1/1 and not the greatest defensive tool. But you do have quite a lot of cards in common with regular Rogue, which can give Shaman trouble sometimes. And they've chosen to draw those cards and get a Mogu on top. So definitely opportunity here for them to hold this at bay.
Shall we make a storm?
Here is the big turn
Mm-hmm.
with the burst. Unfortunately, no evolve drawn, but there is the mutate for the Mogu
Right.
Flesh Shaper.
And then they'll get the evolve for next turn on that.
Yeah, this is one heck of a turn. And the question is now, can Fairly survive against this? He's got backstabs. That is just a 4/4.
So we've got backstab. Can they make a vendetta? Yes.
Can you make one? What do you mean?
Can you
Can
make
you
it good?
make it?
But it's already good.
Yeah. Double backstab vendetta and Mogu flesh shaper and underbelly fence. Actually, Fairly has so many defensive tools.
Yes. I fear for them next turn a little bit, but at the moment, Fairly should be able to deal with a large chunk of this board. Ooh.
Those are so squishy.
That is insane.
It's pretty nutty.
What a comeback! Annihilating most of what Hawkeye has. Like, and as we can see from Hawkeye, he doesn't have too much refill. He's got burst into Soul of the Murloc. He's got one evolve. It's just not going to do enough.
Right, let me see. Greece, I believe, are playing one Lightning Storm and one Haunting Visions from memory. Oh, don't worry, just your hair.
All right, never mind. We've flipped back over the other way again. This is now, this is now easy hair evolve, and well, I hope for your sake, Hawkeye, I hope it's a good one.
Yeah, they can play Burst Soul and trade one minion. I don't think you do. Because if your opponents have Fan, which I believe is in their deck, you just lose. And then you evolve next turn with Hair Evolve on an even bigger board, but I don't see any reason not to do it now, really.
There is little time.
Yeah, you take your life in your hands and do it now. Good luck, everybody. Big evolve. That's good enough.
Hey, there's the pinata.
The one that they needed in Azoth from 3 games
Yeah,
ago. Whenever
the one
was.
that Fanny needed. Yeah.
Can they deal with this board? If they can deal with this board, then they can start talking business about trying to win the game.
Backstab Lackey is can deal with the 4/4. Titanic Lackey can really add this very powerful defensive tool to the Evil Miscreant. Okay, just gonna deal with the 4/3 and the 3/3.
Using health total as his resource might seem weird against an aggressive deck, but this deck tends to either kill you in one shot or not kill you, and that is the bane of Shaman players everywhere. It's a totally unplayable card. Would make your Azoth cost 0.
It came from the pinata. Oh my goodness! What the heck?
I have grown
Well,
to
then.
dislike Aviana over time.
It's not quite like original Aviana, is it? Where you play it and then win the game.
I mean, it's kind of like it. It's very similar. You play it, then you lose the game. It's not that far different. If you could just silence it for one turn only and then unsilence it, it'd be great.
It's kind of like Temporis, isn't it? You give your opponent
Yes,
2
very
turns
much
and
so.
then you take 2 turns. Except your opponent will use their first turn to deal with your Aviana, and then you don't get your second turn.
Has grown into a use though here if they don't win anyway, because now it can be evolved next turn into a 6. But it looks for all the world with this Soul of the Murloc coming down now. That
No, it's evolved now. Let's go.
this is fine. And they're not playing Druid; they just make a big board. It's kind of the punish, but they knew it had to come off the top.
Yeah, I mean, for Fairly, it was getting to the point where, like, he's done a lot of work, granted, but needed something good now. And Carter Defender might just about be good enough for now.
I
Needs to
mean,
survive 2 more turns.
yeah, it gives you a plan, right? Yeah, they haven't got a plan until they draw that. Now their plan is don't die until turn 10 and there's a chance.
Mhm.
Well, then it's probably over, in fact. So the real question is... Actually, I know what they're thinking. Oh, cheeky. You could scheme this. That scheme's been in the hand forever. You could draw another one next turn.
So, sorry, you want to scheme the Kartut, yeah?
Yeah. Because now there's
Okay.
7 of 4, so I thought it was a bit more than that. Now there's 4 Kartuts for you to draw next turn. You want to get to turn 10. Draw a Kartut every turn until you get there, is the way to try and do it.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense than just giving it 2 more health, which doesn't really affect anything. You're still trading with both the 3/5, 3/6.
Yep, well, I mean, granted, Kartut Defender's probably the best card in the deck that you can draw now, so yeah, why not raise your chances of drawing a second one? You're not going to need multiple N'Zoths to win this game. You are going to need to survive until you play N'Zoth to win this game, so that'll make sense. Other relevant cards in the deck that could be drawn, I guess Mind Control Tech isn't bad. Togwaggle is too expensive to be relevant, so never mind. Sap is fine, I guess.
Yeah, you just want to get to turn 10. You'd like to have played 1 more Kartut before you get there, but... just get there.
Of course, the fact that Fairleigh does get to heal for 6 this turn, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I mean, the healing is huge here.
But the second Kartut drawn would be utterly fantastic.
You got 5 in 22 chance before they put in, plus the one that they just started with. If they don't draw it, they probably lose. Blink Fox.
Oh, we need a good Blink Fox! That's not it!
Froggy.
Alright, so
No
plan B.
spells to go with a frog.
No, we got to play this Lackey. We got to give this Taunt. So essentially, there's only 5 damage represented on the board now going face. So Fairleigh's still alive.
Unless you get Bloodlust. Play Thunderhead, kill things, go face.
Everyone's saying in chat that Hawkeye missed an attack, by the way, just missed 3 damage.
It happens.
I gotta admit I didn't catch that, but yeah, it does happen.
It's one of the very hardest things to catch as a caster. It's really weird because you're looking at everything else.
Yeah, and it's because we just sort of expect the attack to go through, right?
Right.
Like as you say, we're thinking about the next few turns and stuff. We're not necessarily focusing on precisely what's happening.
Still should see it. Again, I'm not going to make an excuse, but it is one of the harder things to spot, weirdly enough, when someone just doesn't attack. Because why wouldn't you just not attack?
Well, exactly. When someone does something just outright odd that you're not looking for. Almost like how Sottle didn't catch a certain certain thing immediately, a certain banker being played on a Shivala, because again, to him it was just like, that always happens. Like, oh wait, he didn't do that. No.
Right, this is a turn where they really need that Kartut more than ever, because if they do get it, if they hadn't got it, they would have been in a lot of trouble. They're still in a bit of trouble now. Bloodlust will still surely wipe them out, but they do now have N'Zoth next turn, and the corner will be turned.
Oh, this is close.
They also have Stormbringer available. Oh, Sea Giant's fine.
7 damage goes face here, so actually Fairleigh only, loses 1 health overall this turn. That Kartut Defender is a very strong card.
Yeah, N'Zoth's the strong card though, because it brings back 2 for each one, right? I mean, Kartut Defender's an irritating card, but on its own, it's not particularly ridiculous. But when you bring it back, it is nutty. Will be interesting to see how many are played once N'Zoth goes out.
Kartut Defender on its own is still sort of like you're merging.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're merging anti-killbot with Sludge Belcher.
Still decent.
But you've made it cost 1 more. Yeah.
I just don't think it'll be in every single deck.
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It'll need to be more in
There's little
a
time.
more. I'm not saying these decks aren't considered, but a more balanced deck overall than just here's my Kartut and here's my N'Zoth. And it's going to be around for a while, so we will see it again, I'm sure, at some point. There will be other ways to get it back, especially in Priest. Just bringing things back all the time.
Well, Lorinda, Hawkeye has only managed to put Feli down to 16, and the Zoth is ready to go. Does he ever just play the other card too? No, that's far too risky. Bloodlust would kill him.
Yeah, you just play N'Zoth now, I think.
Yeah, Bloodlust would be lethal otherwise, so you have to play the Zoth. Like your N'Zoth does answer this board.
Remember, they're probably quite scared of this random legendary that's in the opponent's hand. Either they've worked it out, or there's a legendary they're thinking of that is terrifying. Like, it could be Ragnaros. I don't know if there's been a spot where they would have played a Ragnaros. There may well have been, but...
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
that's too scary. Really,
I mean, it can miss the Kartuts and blow your face off, but yeah.
even so, you've got 15 health.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's just not good unless it does it twice, but then you get to trade in between. Would Deathwing be scared? No. Yeah, no, not really.
It'd be really annoying. Deathwing, you'd have to actually keep playing the game of Hearthstone. Because you haven't got any more N'Zoths. And the Kartuts would be on their last legs. And there's still Stormbringer in Grease's deck. Looking very much, though, like Group D is coming to the conclusion. Denmark plus probably the Czech Republic at this point. Still going to be some fiddling around, though.
There's little time.
Because Czech Republic have lost their infiniteness, or their close infiniteness.
True. With Togwaggle Skin gone, I believe it is the only copy that they run. So,
Yes.
There's still Shadow Steps that would just end the game if drawn. But then at the end of the day, things... Well, hang on. How many of these things have been drawn now since the scheme? That's the third one.
I
4
think
were
that's the
shuffled
third
in.
one. Yeah.
4 were shuffled in, 3 have been drawn. Obviously, there's one more in the deck as well. But that is some good draws there from Fairley.
It is, but it was a good decision to do it. The
for
instinctive play is to just taunt up your... Sorry, to add health to your existing Kartut. But yeah, it was fairly clear when you thought about it. Was spotting it was the harder bit.
Vasina is some significant damage, but it's
is.
not. I mean, clears the board, right? No, it doesn't clear us off. Clears
Which is
everything.
really
back.
annoying for them because they'd like to connect this damage somewhere that isn't into a 3-4. But that's everything gone now. As far as Greece are concerned, that's the Kartut basically got rid of.
There's one more though.
Yeah. Indeed there is. So now that they've used both the Soul and the Murlocs, they're going to have to draw... Have they drawn both hairs? They've drawn at least one. But they have to find a way to get a Stormbringer. They've got this Faceless Lackey Stormbringer totem. So I think you keep the Faceless in your hand.
You know what, Lorinda? It's time to bring out the big guns. Time for Dustfallen. Aviana is actually going to play it.
Yeah, why not actually? I mean, your opponent doesn't
What
have
have you
to have...
got to lose at this point?
But they've got a deck where their only big card really is N'Zoth. They've got every right not to expect another Kartut. I like them if they play this. I think this is good play. They're going to get royally punished for it.
There's literally no card in the deck that this actually helps. There's no card apart from maybe a Sea Giant that could cost 0. There's nothing else because it's the first card you play, so you can't even like play a Hare and then play a 0-mana Stormbringer. You'd have to put the Stormbringer first, so it's entirely useless.
It's a chunky minion, and there's a very good chance it doesn't help your opponent because this rogue deck is 50% cheap cards. It just so happens they drew 4 of their 5 Kartuts, as Hawkeye is expressing there in Greek. Greek eye rolls. I honestly think that was a fair play. Get your 5/7 onto the board, or your 3/7 onto the board. And just because it doesn't work out doesn't mean that wasn't actually quite smart. Because they've got 10 mana anyway.
Well, again, I'm scouring Greece Shaman deck list. There's nothing crazy in there. There's no... I mean, the best thing they could do is get Haunting Visions into some incredibly valuable Shaman spell, but I don't think that there really is one. Stormbringer is the best. Oh, hello. Oh!
Blazing Invocation into Shudderwalk.
Oh!
I don't think they play many Battlecry minions, but Shudderwalk anyway for the fun.
Mojo Master Z Healer Inder!
You're late, Zehe, but it's still... is there any time? If they draw Stormbringer precisely next turn... Give your opponents 20 mana one turn and 5 the next. Make your mind up.
Bounce the Duskfallen. Play it again. I don't know. I really don't know.
Bounce us off and go home.
Get on that.
I'll put it on your tab.
Yeah, bounce that nose off the face of the earth is what Hawkeye
Shame
wants
it's
to
only
do right
friendly
now.
minions, but you know.
Yeah.
Alright, setting up a chance for Stormbringer if this collection of absolute rubbish survives. And most of it's dead on board.
Don't call that Pagel rubbish.
I mean, sometimes he catches one. Shadow Step Nazar.
As if things couldn't get any worse for Hawkeye.
I mean, in some ways, it got better for him because now he can stop even going through the torture that he's been going through the last few turns. But there was an outside chance they could find Stormbringer. I think this board was getting cleaned up a lot of the time anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Dagger deals the 1/1, Vendetta deals the 5/4. Trade there, trade there.
Even getting rid of the Pagel, because that's the only way that anything ridiculous
Yep.
happens to them.
Yep, very reasonable. And that, unless this is the miracle card, is going to be GG. Fairly and Yala have won their series, the decider match in Group D. They have qualified to the next stage of the tournament. Czech Republic, such a storied country when it comes to the Hearthstone Global Games, the winners of the first year. Maybe they are back and ready to do it once more, Lorinda.
Yeah, another time through to the later stages for Czech Republic, and a very, very sharp-looking team, despite the fact we didn't see anything of Yala today, who I believe must be a bit better now because he's been in chat earlier on. But Greece, they're not going for the triple Baron-Geddon at the end if they draw Stormbringer. I assume they saw their card and it wasn't it. So sad to see Greece and Romania leave the tournament, but great to see Denmark, who look very, very solid, and Greece going, and Czech Republic going through and surviving from that really long game one as well.
Well, that was one heck of a series, but we have one more to come today. Well, you don't, Lorinda. You can go and enjoy, but Derek and I have one series to come today. We're going to be starting off the next group, and it's going to be Mexico up against Chinese Taipei. So don't go anywhere. One final series of HGG today coming up.